Hi and welcome back to the UTF podcast. This is episode 9. We are talking about cricket now. We've been doing a different format. We've spoken about loads of different sports today. Go back to our football one. You can understand this a bit more. We might explain a bit on Twitter as well what we're doing.
There's also a rugby, boxing, and golf one as well.
So yeah, we're going to try out just a different way of formatting these podcasts to try and make them more easy to get into. So this time we're going for a cricket one, and this is a little bit, well, not a little bit, quite a bit late. But we've been busy and we haven't been together to film for a long time, so it's old news, but we're going to cover it anyway. And that is obviously the Australian scandal against South Africa, where, if you don't know, Cameron Bancroft was seen to be tampering with the ball with a small piece of sandpaper during the game. Subsequently, he was banned for 9 months, as was team captain Steve Smith and main instigator David Warner. Those two received 12-month bans. Darren Lehman?
Yeah.
Darren Lehman, the Australian coach, ended up quitting. There was allegations that he was involved. He claimed he was not involved, but he quit regardless. So it left Cricket Australia in a really poor situation. James Sutherland, the chief executive for Cricket Australia, to come out and try and repair a bit of the damage, but it's not a great situation for Australia, especially for some of the people like Steve Smith and David Warner are experienced players, big players for Australia. To come out and do something like that, it's not good, is it?
It's probably the two best golfers, but yeah,
best golfers
still on the
stuck
last
on the
podcast.
last podcast, yeah.
But no, it's probably the two best cricketers Australia have, and they're going to miss them in the next 12 months against teams they play. But if you looked at the media, what was said, you would have thought they've killed someone. I genuinely believe they deserve their bans. I think the bans are kind of fair for what they did, because it is cheating. But it's harsh the way they've been treated by the media and other things. Like their families getting threatened by people, and yeah, they're making them cry live on TV and stuff like that. I just don't think it's necessary.
I don't think they made them cry
not made
on
them cry,
TV.
But they didn't need to. They pushed them to that. They didn't need to push them to that.
I only think one of them cried on TV.
Smith cried, and
David Warner didn't cry.
Well, he showed a tear too.
Didn't cry. He scratched up his face and made himself cry.
But you know what I mean. He cried.
Crocodile tears they were. It was rubbish.
Yeah, I feel like Cameron Bancroft's a young cricketer, and obviously, I'm not saying he got forced to it because obviously it was his choice, but he got.
Well, I think he probably did, and it's difficult, especially when you're so young and impressionable. If David Warner and Steve Smith, or not Steve Smith, he wasn't really involved.
Well, but you say that.
As far as we know, as far as people understand the story, Smith didn't know what was happening, but he knew something was happening and didn't investigate. He was too keen to go, I don't want to know what's going on, just don't involve me. And that's not what the captain should be doing. He should be knowing exactly what's going on. David Warner was the instigator. He's the one who conjured up the idea. And if you're a young, impressionable cricketer who has, the whole future ahead of them, David Warner could, quite easily affect the way in which you perform in the thing. Are you going to be called up next time? Who knows?
That's a good point.
So it's tough.
It is tough. I do feel sorry for him, but he still did it, so I think he still deserves to ban for it.
Yeah, that's true.
But I think, all three of them, they got what they deserved bans-wise.
I think Steve Smith was a bit harsh, personally.
As captain of the team, you've got to know what's going on. And he knew
I'd have given him 9 months.
Happening.
I'd have given him 9 months.
Maybe 9 months, but I still think
he should be banned, don't get me wrong, but I think it's quite clear that the main man to point your finger at there is David Warner.
Well, even Australia.
And he got the same with Smith. Doesn't really.
Well, apparently the Australian players all weren't happy with David Warner, were they, after the situation? Because they all he had to go on his own, I think, in the hotel, and they had to be separated from the rest because something happened. So that was interesting.
Well, I mean, at the very least, they could have cost them the Test series because they couldn't play the remaining games.
He's always been known as, I can't really say on this podcast, but he's always been known as a.
Yeah, to put it politely, he hasn't been held in good regard by fans across the world. He's not,
or fellow players.
He's not a popular bloke.
No, similar to Patrick Reed in the golf that we spoke about. If you want to watch that, go back to golf episode.
Nice little link. I like it.
That.
Yeah. No, but you're right. Yeah, he's not. He's someone who's had some issues in the past. People haven't really got along with what he said. And even in the press conferences, I mean, I've never been a big fan of Steve Smith. I think he's quite an arrogant person. But when he came out in his press conference, it genuinely felt like he was a broken man.
And And that's what I mean. But the media pushed him to that.
I don't think they did because he started crying when he was talking about his mum and his dad and how they'd perceived him now, you know. And I think that it's tough for a man like that. You know, he's obviously the captain of his nation. To do something like that, you know, and have his parents look at him and be ashamed of him and all that, it's tough. And I genuinely felt sorry for him. But with David Warner, the whole way through that, his PR team majorly cocked up because his whole, I'm going to say the same phrase over and over again no matter what question I'm asked, was an awful decision, especially after having 2 days to think and rest and come back with a plan. And then his crying didn't even look genuine. It looked like he was just trying to screw his face up to try and conjure out some tears. Rub his face a bit, and that might help a little bit. And it didn't come off as genuine at all. But every single question he was asked, can you confirm that it was just you, Bancroft, and Smith that were involved? All these other questions, and he would just say the same thing every time. I'm here to apologise for what I did. What I did was wrong. I'm here to apologise, and that was it. And that's awful. He's digging himself into a deeper hole by saying, I'm going to go away, think about it, come back and answer questions, and then to do that. It just seems a big misstep from his PR team.
Do you expect anything less from David Warner though?
True, but you know.
But do you see for example, the other bands they got? But David Warner's now even after his ban, he's never allowed to be captain or vice captain again. He's not allowed part of the leadership team ever again. Whereas
Smith can be,
but
that tells you what you need to know about who was in charge.
But he can't be for 2 years. So I think Smith can't be for another year afterwards. And same with Bancroft. None of them can be part of the leadership team till at least a year after they ban as well.
That does tell you an awful lot about who was in charge of this thing then.
But it shows a lot of obviously. I would be a little bit surprised to see David Warner ever play for Australia again. In all honesty, well, it depends who takes over. Obviously, because if the players don't like him, then he's going to be not very good in the changing room, is he? And if he can't be, and he's not a leader anymore. Well, he's a great cricketer, don't get me wrong, he always has been, but obviously his attitude and his personality just doesn't accommodate that at all. So I think I wouldn't be surprised to not see him play for Australia again. But also it cost them, all three of them, well, mainly Smith and Warner, a lot of money because they weren't allowed to play in the IPL. The IPL.
He was captain of the Hyperbad as well.
So,
replaced by, was it Wokes? Someone English.
Alex Hales.
Hales,
I think. Yeah. So they both, suffered a big dent in their pockets because of that.
And Bancroft was coming over to England as well.
Yeah. Well, he was at Gloucestershire a couple of years ago, and I think he was at Somerset. He was going to Somerset.
It was something like that. Yeah.
So
he was somewhere over.
So they've all three of them have lost a lot of money because of what happened as well.
Because effectively they can only the only cricket they can play for the next 12 months and 9 months in Bancroft's case is village cricket. They can't play
Australia. Yeah. So they've not really got much money to be made. So they took a massive dent, not just in their game, obviously money-wise, but also their reputations. If now being
the other tough thing as well is obviously when England played Australia last in the Ashes, it was a really bad time for England. What was the score? Was it 5-0?
I think it might have been 4. I think they drew one.
Okay,
I could be wrong, but I think
I can't remember what it was. But either way, it was heavily. Australia was swinging the ball really well, and it was just there wasn't much hope for England. But the problem with this is now you're bringing into question things like that, where people are going to start saying, was there ball tampering going on there?
There was rumours.
There might not have been, but whenever you do stuff like that, it brings up all the questions about all the past things you've done, all the games you've played, thinking, well, if Warner was there at the same time, he could quite easily have done it. And Bancroft was a little bit silly to be captured on camera. If he wasn't, we would have got away with it. So
for people who don't know what Bancroft did, he had a piece of sandpaper, like you said earlier, to basically roughen up the one side of the ball, so when a bowler bowls, it will cause an awkward bounce on the field, so you don't know where it's going to go. So it obviously makes it awkward for the batsman. There's more chance of getting them out. That's basically what happened. So yeah,
which is illegal.
Which is illegal. Yes, that's why it's obviously cheating. You're trying to gain an advantage, which is obviously cheating. But like I said, the way the media took them, I just went at them. I just don't agree with. I think, like I said, they didn't kill anyone. I mean, there's a big difference between, for example, if you take it back to Pakistan match fixing scandal, there's a big difference between that and this. There's a big difference between cheating to win and cheating to lose.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I think that's so. I think obviously, jail time in match fixing. Obviously, there's no jail time in this because
very true. Yeah,
everyone wants to gain advantage to win.
And two of them are bound for life.
Yeah, and people try pushing the boundaries to be able to win, which is obviously if you're within the boundaries, it's fine. But some people also stay at the mark, which Australia did. But if you're trying to lose, then that's just the worst thing you could do. So I do feel sorry for them a little bit. I agree with the bans they got. and obviously, if it's sorry for them, they've lost all their money now off the IPL deals and English T20 Blast deals and stuff like that. But I think they got what they deserved that reason. But I think the way they were treated could have been handled better by the media. But we all know what the media is like. It's a frenzy when something like this happens.
True, it's a witch hunt a lot of the time.
And I think it went a bit too far for me.
What's interesting is obviously we don't live in Australia, so we don't know what the local attitude would have been. But an awful lot of people were saying they were concerned about the reaction the Australians would give, because even leaving the airport in South Africa, Steve Smith had to be protected by an amazing amount of people just to get on the plane. You imagine how bad it must be back in Australia with the amount of heat that's going to be on them now. And that James Sutherland at Cricket Australia, he came out publicly and was asked, now that this situation is winding down, we've got more of the facts. Can you say that they are cheaters? Did they cheat? And he said, yeah, well, I can't deny they did cheat. So if he's branded them as cheaters by the letter of the law, they're not going to be popular in Australia. It's their sport, isn't it? Rugby and cricket are their sports, and to be the captain of Australia in cricket is a massive thing. To then go and throw that in their face by colluding with other people to tamper with the ball, it's not good.
There's also an issue of there was a lot of people worrying about their mental welfare because of the witch hunt, obviously by the media, and you can see how broke,
especially with the way Smith. Yeah,
you see how broken Steve Smith was. So obviously, there's a lot of worry about that. So I think that's another issue that needs to be taken care of. I think they need to be looked after in the right way and treated in the right manner, so things don't escalate further. Certainly,
it's far too easy to say, well, they cheated, they deserve what they get, and then so much abuse, especially on social media. It's not good for their well-being.
At the end of the day, it's a game, and they cheated to try and win, which obviously everyone wants to win. They should try and win, and then it's a game. So I think,
like you said, it's so much different than Pakistan. They cheated to win a game. They didn't. They broke the law of cricket. They didn't break the law.
Yeah.
Whereas in Pakistan, they broke the actual law and jail time.
So I think you have to be able to look after the mental welfare of the player. Like I said, it's a game. It's not. Like I said, they didn't kill anyone. They didn't do anything illegal outside of cricket. All they did was scrub a ball with some sandpaper. That's all they did at the end of the day. And
it's a very small action for an awful lot of.
You know what I mean? So
reaction. So
for me, yes, they deserve what they get in cricket, but outside of that, they should be treated better, for me, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because I think, like I said,
if you want to hold a grudge, but don't take it out on them.
Yeah, or their families, especially
their families. Yeah, I mean,
they've been getting death threats and stuff like that, and it's just no need for stuff like that when it's just a
David Warner, as people saw when he was leaving South Africa, he has a wife and two young kids. They don't need that. They don't need all that abuse, and they don't want to see their dad get absolutely peppered with abuse and end up getting in a bad way mentally because of that, even if he is not the nicest bloke. So yeah, it's definitely that. If you want to feel grudged and you don't like the people anymore because they've done what they've done, fine, but don't go overboard.
So I got to say on that. Obviously, the IPL is going on at the moment as well. So if anyone wants to watch the IPL, give it a watch and let us know what you think.
It's not for me. I can't be dealing with it.
I think Sam Billings done well yesterday. Yeah.
I don't watch much domestic cricket, to be honest. I like the Big Bash.
Yeah, I like the Blast I do as well, the English T20 League.
Yeah, it's not bad. That's quite good.
I like watching Glamorgan play. Sam Billings done well yesterday. Yeah, he won I think he plays for Chennai, and I think they won because of him. He shot like 56 of 23, so
not bad.
He done well for himself, obviously over there, which is good to see for English cricket.
It's good for Alex Howes as well to step into that.
Yeah.
David Warner left. Take his opportunity. Yeah.
So it's good for English cricketers. Seem to be doing right at the moment. Let us know what you think about the scandal and if you agree or disagree with what we've said.
Drop us a tweet.
Yeah, at UTF_podcast.
Or at LWOS_Gavin at Cuff Writes CUFFWRITES.
You nearly forgot your own Twitter handle then, didn't you?
I had to think, mate. I did have to think.
But yeah, that's all for this week's podcast. Hope you enjoy this one and all the rest we're going to release. Leave a comment down below, like, subscribe, and we'll see you next week.